That was the main vehicle of this. How many? One? That's a lot. And how many? He made a lot of it. There's a large volume of it. Aaron was saturated with this because Aaron held an office. He held a marvelous office, recognized. He held an office for all the people. Aaron was a representative. When his two sons died, got killed because they offered strange fire, he was not even allowed to take off his garments. He could not dab his eyes with a handkerchief. He could not sniffle because you represent the people and they were wrong. Lord have mercy, that was hard. I have two sons, John and Jeff. And my two boys, we've just had some great times together. I think in one fell swoop, if something happened to them, God told me, he said, don't you cry, don't you weep. I'd say, forget it. I don't know, maybe with the help of the Lord, but there was a reason behind that. Because Aaron held an office that was greater than his person. He held an office that represented far more than his emotions and feelings. And I'm glad we don't run on our emotions and feelings. If I did, I would have quit this long ago. I'd have thrown in the towel, and I'd have picked up my spray gun again and started painting cars again. If I went by my emotion and my feeling. But we don't. The men who are in the ministry, especially, we are saturated with this. Like I said earlier, you can't have too much of a good thing. And this oil was a combination. We read the calamus and the cinnamon and the different things. He told him 500 of this, 250 of this, 250 of this. God was very precise. It had to be just like he said. It was a combination of a number of things, and every one of them were needed. Now, I won't be laborious to the point of I guess you could, if you wanted to, take every type and shadow of every element. I'm not going to do that. Sometimes we get down such detail that we almost lose the picture of things. But just the fact of the ointment itself. David said, it's great for brethren to dwell together in unity. David probably scratched his head. He got writer's block there for a minute. And thought, what in the world? Let's see. What's it like? Fellowship. Unity. Oh, it's wonderful. And all of a sudden the Spirit of the Lord moved over him and said, it's like the ointment that was poured over Aaron. David said, what? Okay, God, if you say so. And when you check up on that ointment, every ingredient was needed. And there it said, God said in verse 3, he said it was like the dew of Hermon, of the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion, for there the Lord commanded the blessing. And I like this part, even life forevermore. Life, that's everlasting life. I tell you, our fellowship and our harmony and our blessing together can be so refreshing, it can help you make heaven. He said there, the Lord commanded the blessing. He said that ointment, he said fellowship was like the ointment. The ointment was like the dew of Hermon, fresh and refreshing. After a hot summer day, in the cool of the morning, it was so wonderful to get out there and walk early in that morning when the dew was so fresh. It descended upon the mountains of Zion. It was such a wonderful thing. It was so refreshing. And thank God for meetings and gatherings like this that are so refreshing, so wonderful, because that ointment is poured out. You know, you couldn't use that for anything else. In fact, he said if you use it for anything else, he said, whosoever compoundeth any like it, or whosoever puts any upon a stranger, it's not to be used for strangers. There's certain things we don't fellowship. We don't fellowship certain people. They may be awful close, but if it isn't the exact compound, we don't fellowship. It's got to have every ingredient.